One time, me and my friend Flounder were loitering in front of Winn Dixie for money so we could buy. And so eventually we ended up coming up with $20. So we were like, okay, we can actually buy what we want to buy, but we couldn't actually find anybody that was willing to sell to us. So we decided that, or well, Flounder decided that they were just gonna buy from this dude that got off work at 11 p.m. and I needed to be home before 11 p.m., actually way before 11 p.m. So I ended up just going home, and then the plan was me and Flounder were gonna meet up again the next day. So we ended up doing that. So I basically get dropped off at Starbucks, and then Flounder rides her bike all the way over from the hair salon that her boyfriend was at to me, and she was supposed to have my half. And when she got to me, she was like in a huge panic. She was like, "Oh my god, I just got hit by a car on my way here. Like they hit my bike and like blah 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 blah. Like I'm just so shaken up, like whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, like, I don't really, your hair's not even messed up. Like you don't look damaged, your bike doesn't look damaged. Like where's my shit?" So she reaches in her pocket and she's like, "Oh fuck." And I'm like, "Please, please tell me you have it, right?" And she's like, "I must have dropped it when I got hit by the fucking car." So she is like, "Okay, well, we need to walk to my boyfriend anyway, so let's just walk down this long stretch of road to the salon and look for it on the ground." So we're looking for it. And it's raining, by the way. I remember that. I remember being soggy as fuck. And we're just like, we're looking on the ground. I keep like seeing rappers and being like, "Is that it?" Oh, it's not it. It's a fucking Snickers bar. Like, okay. So that happens. And then we finally get to the salon. And her boyfriend, let's call him Dan. So Dan is in the salon. He's getting his hair cut. And they were giving out free haircuts at this place. So there was a lot of kids in there for some reason. Um, like, I think they were just giving out haircuts to minors. And, like, I was going to get my haircut, but then I was like, nah. Because, like, I didn't really need one. Anyways, he is doing that. And he gets out and he's like, he sees his backpack on his bike that he left outside. And he's just like, he reaches to grab it and he looks in there and he's like, "I got fucking robbed." And he starts freaking the fuck out. He's like, "I just got fucking robbed. My gun isn't in here. Where's my gun? Oh my god, I had drugs in there." Oh, because he was, okay, so this guy was like a drug dealer. Dan is a drug dealer. And was. I'm not entirely sure of all of the drugs that he was selling, but I know that he was also doing drugs, specifically meth. At one point, he ended up shooting up meth. So he's freaking the fuck out. He's like really angry, really mad. He's like dumping his shit everywhere and like cursing and screaming, causing a huge scene. And this big dude comes out of the hair salon. He works there and he's like, "Hey, like, why are you causing a scene? Why are you screaming and yelling?" And he's like, "I just got fucking robbed. They took my gun. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to do. Blah, 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 blah." He's dumping his shit out. Chargers and, like, fucking, like, gum wrappers and old vapes and just a bunch of shit's just flying everywhere. Pens, pencils. I don't even know what was in this backpack. But, like, just everything's flying everywhere. He's mad and angry because he's a drug dealer. So, obviously, the fact that he lost his gun is a very big deal because he is now naked, unarmed, and scared and also paranoid as fuck from all the drugs he's on. So he's flipping out. Okay, he's flipping the freak out. And it was really weird actually because like he was like mad obviously that he got robbed, but then he was like, they didn't even know how to fucking rob me. Like, if you're gonna rob me, take my charger. Like, you didn't even take my charger. Like, why didn't you even take my charger? Like, bro, if you didn't even know. So and they also took like a lot of the money that he had earned from selling these drugs. So I think he had like 300 on him or something, like something crazy like that. And they stole it. Um, oh, and then like at one point he like punched a tree and it was really anticlimactic and embarrassing. And me and Flounder looked at each other and we were just kind of like, also kind of embarrassing. Why would you want to do him after seeing that? Like, that's just very embarrassing, very gross, very bad. Why would you want him as a partner? But that's a whole other thing. Flounder, I am not friends with anymore, but they seem to be doing well from what I've seen on social media, so I hope that they're doing okay. Um, but yeah, he just like started tweaking. And then another time when I was with Flounder, we both like were at this like punk show. Like, we met at this punk show, or what we thought was a punk show, but then we ended up like being super fucking bored. It was like, I don't know, it looked like some sort of like talent show. It was just like a bunch of little baby kids like hitting like the drums. Like, I don't even know. Like, it was just very, it's not what I thought it was. Like, I thought it was gonna be like, you know, like get up and mosh type thing, but there was actually like chairs set up for you to sit down and like watch these like fucking 3-year-olds like play guitar. So we ended up leaving and we were like, okay, we're just gonna go to the Winn-Dixie and loiter again because why not? So we ended up like like it was like this long ass journey. We ended up getting lost halfway there, but like this venue that we were at was really close to the transfer station. So we go to the transfer station, we get to one of the buses. She has her bike on her, so we ended up needing help from this guy. Like, he like came up to us and he just saw us struggling because we had never done it before. We never put the bike like on the front of the bus. He just like did it for us and we were like, thank you, whatever, you know. And then we get on the bus. Like, he ended up leaving. I don't know where the fuck he went, but we get on the bus, we get to Winn-Dixie after getting lost. I'm not going to get into that. We just got lost, and then we ended up walking a bunch. We ended up finally getting there. We loiter, and then at one point, Flounder asked, like, the actual manager of the Winn-Dixie if she had, like, money. And then she was like, okay, well, if you're going to be loitering, you actually can't be here, so you're going to have to fucking leave. So then we did, and then we went to Dollar General, or no, we went to the Dollar Tree that was, like, right next to it. Like, it was, like, a big strip, like, you know. So we just walk there, and then we just keep on loitering, and then we see the same guy that we saw earlier at the transfer station, and we're like, that's kind of weird. And he's with this other dude who's like really scrawny and kind of looks like Skinny Pete, but like white and tall. And so they both come up to us, and also Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad. I just want to give context if you didn't know. Anyways, so they both come up to us and they're like, hey, like, we're doing this like church service this weekend. It's gonna start on Friday, and there's gonna be free housing for 3 days, and there's gonna be food, and it's just gonna be church and God and blah 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 blah, and it's all just kind of going in one ear and out the other because I don't really give a fart. But but Flounder is you know, like active listening, and you know, just kind of like nodding her head, and I'm just kind of like, you know, tuning the fuck out because, like, you know, whatever. And they just keep on talking about it, keep on talking about it. At one point they mentioned that, like, you know, they would be providing, like, you know, free transportation to this event. So, like, they would be able to, like, you know, pick you up from your place and then just take you there, which was really interesting that I didn't, like, fully, like, I don't know. I just didn't really pay attention to that detail. So they leave after, like, talking our ears off for, like, what felt like a fucking hour. They come back, like, a second time, and I think this time is when they actually gave us money, because we, like, told them, like, why we were sitting there. So they gave us, like, this card, this, like, credit card that was supposed to have, like, I don't know, $12 on it, and they were like, oh, go to, like, the Taco Bell, because we didn't want to tell them why we were loitering, so we were just like, oh, we're, like, hungry. So they were like, okay, well, just, like, take this card and you can go to the Taco Bell, like, you know, right down the road. And I was like, we were like, okay, not even down the road. It was, like, literally, like, a minute away. So we walk there, and I think our plan was like to try to see if we could get the money off of the card and like turn it into cash. So we ended up like trying to do that, but it ended up not working. And I think like I wanted to buy food, but we decided against it because obviously we're fucking teenagers and we wanted to do some extracurricular activities, if you know what I'm saying. So, okay, so I think they came back like a third time. Like I think they like, yeah, cause okay, so we went there and we like pretended to like buy whatever the fuck. And then we came out and we were just kind of like standing in front of the Taco Bell, just like hanging out. And then like I think Flounder's boyfriend Dan came back and like came to where we were and like met up with us, and like we were all just like three talking and like smoking cigarettes. And then like the two dudes come back and they just like keep on talking about this fucking church service and how that they can take us there, and I'm like, how it's gonna be super fun and blah 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 blah. Oh, and also I forgot to mention they handed us like business cards before when we were at the Dollar Tree. So like, and I didn't even look at them. I just kind of like shoved them in my pocket and was like, whatever, like, you know. So yeah, they come back like another time at the Taco Bell and they just keep talking about it, which was weird because at the Dollar Tree, they said that they were going to go to Checkers, but they ended up just coming back again. And Checkers was like really far down the road, and these people did not have a car, so they were obviously like watching us and following us, because how the fuck did they get from all the way across town to where we were without taking the same bus as us? Like, this man was obviously following us, and it didn't even click. It didn't even click. It did not even click. So I remember this night I didn't have a ride home, but Flounder was just gonna get on, wait a minute. I might be getting my stories mixed up because Flounder did not have their bike for like the second half of the story. I don't remember, at least, but because I remember like Flounder and Dan got on this one bike that he had. Okay, so Dan rides this bike that's like the kind that you like lay down on, but he like fucking engineered this like seat on top of it, like his own seat. And like had this little compartment where he kept his strap. So, he takes Flounder home, but he's like, okay, so he's like, cause I'm like kind of freaking out a little bit, but not like too much, cause like honestly I kind of enjoy, like, okay, so this is nighttime. We're in the nighttime at this point. It's dark out, and I kind of enjoy the thrill of like being lost and like being like kind of in a scary situation. So like I'm not too freaked out, but I'm a little bit freaked out because I kind of just want to get home. I don't want my dad to be mad at me, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't have a ride home. So Dan is like, okay, well, I'm going to take Flounder home, and then when I come back, I will figure out like a ride for you. Like I will just figure out a situation. Like, so just hang out with my friend. His name is Lunch Meat. And you can just like sit next to him while I take Flounder home, and then like whatever. So I'm like, who the fuck is Lunch Meat? And he's like, just go across the street from this Taco Bell that we are at, across the road. He's on the corner playing guitar. He's a homeless man. Go sit next to him and wait for me. So I'm like, okay. So I do that. And Lunch Meat was the coolest fucking dude I've ever met in my life. He was like this 50-year-old man, and he was playing guitar with like this shard of glass instead of a guitar pick. And, you know, he turns to me and he's just like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I just didn't have a ride, you know, Dan, like, he's like, you know, figuring out a ride for me, like, whatever. And then Lunch Meat proceeds to tell me about, like, his ex-wife and, like, how he wrote this song for her, and then he plays me the song, and the song is fucking good. Like, he's a good guitar player, he's a good singer, like, it was a vibe, it was really cool, like, it's nighttime, and I'm just kind of listening to this guy, like, kind of tell me stories and play guitar. It was a vibe. And you might be thinking this is a really creepy situation to be in, but for what it was genuinely, like, the most, like, calming thing. you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't freaked out, but like, for the situation that I was in, it was a very like okay, everything's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a normal, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So after a while, like, he's just playing. Like, he like was telling me a lot of stories, and then he just kind of stopped, and then like he just started playing for a while, and I was just kind of sitting there listening, looking at the cars go by, whatever. And it was just really pretty. And then all of a sudden, this car goes by, and I see the window roll down, and I see a face come out, and it's like, Daisy, Waffle House, Waffle House. And I'm like, oh my god. And I look in the window, and I'm like, oh my god, it's my friend Stephanie. Fake name, by the way, but I'm like, oh my god, it's Stephanie. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm so happy. I cannot believe, like a familiar face, like everything's gonna be okay, like I'm gonna get home safe, like, whatever, like this is my best friend, like I'm gonna be okay. Which was actually really funny because during this time, like I remember like a couple days before this happening, or just like kind of like during this era, I remember like specifically being like I'm gonna stop being Stephanie's friend, but like I saw her and I was like, I'm absolutely getting in that fucking car and I'm gonna put my needs on hold because I'm in the middle of nowhere at nighttime and these are safe people, so I'm gonna get in her car. Well, she wasn't the one that was driving, it was actually her brother's girlfriend who was driving, but she was like in the back seat. But they were like going to Waffle House, so I ended up going with them. But yeah, like she was like really like manipulative, and like I don't know, we had this like really bad like trauma bond, and like I was kind of like during this time I was trying to like improve my life and actually like get out of it and try to like heal from like what I had been through, and she just kind of like to bring up the specific type of trauma, but like not like in a way to be like she wasn't like trying to resolve anything. She was just kind of trying to like wallow in her self-pity and like smoke weed all the time and just like cope and like whatever. So I wasn't really down with that. I was just kind of trying to like get better. So that's kind of why we like split. But like anyways, I get in the car, I start telling her the tea. I just kind of tell her about like my past couple of days with Flounder, basically everything that I just told you. And she's like, oh my god, like whatever. Like, cause Stephanie and Flounder were not good terms. Like, cause for a while, like in the beginning of the school year, they were like best friends, except like Stephanie was kind of like being fake to Flounder because like Stephanie kind of felt like she was valid in doing that because like Flounder is also like not the best person. Like they're both very bad people. Or well, no, I don't want to say that. They both did a lot of bad things. And so I don't know like where either of them are now, you know what I mean? Like in terms of like if they're good people or not, and if they see this they're going to know I'm talking about them, so I don't want to be like they were horrible because like I've done, bad things too. But I'm just saying like they were both kind of like they both kind of did shitty shit. So what am I saying? Anyways, so we get to Waffle House, and I remember I was like hitting the pen the entire time we were in the car, and then like I get into the Waffle House, and like I'm hitting the pen, and like I'm telling my stories loud as fuck in this fucking Waffle House. It's like late as fuck at night, and like there's no one in here. And I remember for some reason there was this dumbass like song, like it was this dumbass like 2015 pop song that was just playing on repeat over and over again, and that was like the funniest shit to us. But then after a while it just got really annoying to me. But yeah, I'm like hitting the pen, I'm like whatever, I'm just like high as fuck, like having a blast. Like I remember everybody kept shushing me. I was so ugh. Never hanging out with people who are gonna make me feel like that ever again. But anyways, yeah, like I was just super excited, super pumped, super I was just being myself, and everybody was just like not the vibe. Especially Stephanie's brother. I fucking hate Stephanie's brother. Stephanie's brother can suck my dick. Anyways, and then the waitress gave me a free waffle with chocolate chips on it. And I got home safe. So that's the end of that story. Oh, also, I just want to mention that, like, that story that I told before about, like, those two dudes, if you couldn't already tell, they were trying to sex traffic us. And I remember like me and Flounder texting about it, like when I had gotten home, and they were like, yeah, like, Dan told me that like they were definitely trying to sex traffic us. And we just kind of like were texting about like all of the details, like all of the little things that happened, like the fact that like he followed us, the fact that they were offering free transportation, the fact that they weren't giving up the address, because I remember Flounder was trying to like text him, like one of the guys, and trying to like get information, like, can you just like send me the address so I can get to this like event. And he was just kept saying like, no, like we will take you, like we want to take you, like just like give us your address and then we'll like pick you up or whatever. Like they didn't want to drop an address, so there was nothing we could do. Like we couldn't give the cops an address and just be like, hey, look out, because like these bitches are fucking crazy, you know. So like nothing ever really came of that, but like that was really fucking scary. Like I remember like as I was texting her, like I literally felt like I was gonna shit myself, and I was like crying to my dad. I was like, I like completely like was like completely honest with him. I just like spilled everything. It was like it was crazy. It was insane. Um but yeah, that is the time that I almost got sex trafficked, the time that Flounder stole my weed by lying and saying she got hit by a car, and the time that Dan got robbed. So thank you guys so much for watching. Um, I'll see you in the next video. I'm planning on telling another story. Um, it's just that like with a lot of these stories, I have really bad memories, so I have to like record these like 20 million times in a row, because like the more I tell it, the more details I remember. Like, I don't know. Anyways. Bye guys. Oh fuck. Wait. Okay.